Yeah.
What's the name of this movie?
It's not a movie, it's a show.
Jupiter's Legacy.
Jupiter Ascending. Jupiter's
You're gonna put Jupiter Ascending on the.
I'm gonna forget. Yeah, this is quite a show.
Oh, we're starting. There's no back. Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're back.
All right,
Wally, it's your
And
turn.
we're back. Wow.
Yes,
And we're back.
we
Wally, we are. You're too close to me now. You can punch me if I interrupt too much.
It's true.
So
we were watching Jupiter's Legacy, and I came across this because it had just come out, like, not this past Friday, but the week before. And I was looking for something to watch on Netflix, and I saw, oh, that's a superhero looking thing. I'll see what that's about.
It is a superhero looking thing.
Because what was the other?
Those cod pieces.
Oh,
It's a superhero landing in the first few minutes.
Oh, because I started watching The Boys, and then I watched the Glass, Split, and Unbreakable series.
Oh,
So I was in a full superhero.
M. Night Shyamalan.
I was in a
You talked
full
about that.
superhero movie mode. So
Oh, this already is a comic. Okay.
yeah.
Oh, it's already a comic.
Oh,
Interesting.
So I started watching it, and then I started looking at, like, who, because I would see people, I'd be like, oh, she looks familiar. Oh, he looks familiar. And then I went through the list, and I saw Tyler Mane. I'm like, that name sounds kind of familiar. So I looked at him and realized, yes, he did WCW back in the day. So I could pick this. And that means we are going to watch, like, X-Men at some point too, because I'll just forget about it. And
Right. Yeah. And that's a weird name to think about. Like,
yeah,
as he is a wrestler. Like, oh, okay. I've never heard Tyler Mane's name ever.
Yeah.
because he didn't go by that. He went by
Yeah, obviously. But I had no idea he was a wrestler.
yeah. So we only watched the first two episodes. Came out to be what, like an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, it's weird.
Something
The
like
first
that.
episode was like 48 minutes, and the second one was only like 30 something minutes.
35 something.
Yeah, it was weird.
So episode 1, called By Dawn's Early Light, it started with a couple kids playing tag. They're all dressed up like superheroes, and they start arguing, and the little girl screams at them, and it knocks over her brother and the other little boy. And then her eyes start to glow because she actually has superpowers.
Yeah.
The other boy runs away, and her brother comforts her, and then their dad flies down, and he's dressed up like a superhero because that's what he is. His name is the Utopian, played by Josh Duhamel.
That's a weird name for a superhero.
Dummel.
The Utopian, yeah.
Utopia is not supposed to
Utopian?
be like a great place. It's supposed to be nowhere. It's
Also, yeah, his real name is Sheldon in the show. They call him Shell, but yeah, the Utopian. It's awkward because
And it's not like it's the Utopian. It's not like a guy. It's not like Superman.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a place. It's
Yeah.
really weird.
Yeah,
it's like a title. almost.
Yeah.
I could feel it, like the Utopian feel. Yeah, it does feel like a place,
And
but it also, like, it could be like a group of
A group of guys, like a
Oh.
group of superheroes.
Yeah.
What is their group called?
the Union.
The Union.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
the Union. One of my favorites.
Corporate union.
One of my favorite things in wrestling. The Union, which was like 1 week. I think it only lasted for like a week.
Oh no, it's a corporate. Yeah.
It was
Corporate
corporate
ministry.
ministry versus the Union for a while.
So the dad begins chastising her for actually using her powers, and his main message is that they do not kill, not even bad guys.
At this point, I don't hate it because you're telling a little kid, "Hey,
Don't
don't
kill.
hurt your friends because you're mad at them.
Which I
Don't
was
kill
thinking,
them."
I was thinking, like, there's no, like, if you had the worst thing ever would be if your child had superpowers.
And you didn't.
And well, if you didn't, they would kill
You're
you.
the fucking worst.
They would murder you.
Absolutely.
That's what would happen.
Yes.
They would never listen to a word you said. But yeah, very difficult to, like, don't use those powers. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it seems like he's getting through to her, and then they're about to go have family fun, and then he hears danger in the distance, so he has to fly away.
Like Ryan at this moment.
Yes.
I'm just turning it down.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine. Just keep it.
So we go to present day, and we see a man sitting alone in a diner watching the news, and we see
Present day Wally.
Just an old man
I
reading the
mean,
news
Sitting in the diner watching the news.
by himself.
there's no news on at the diner that I go to, so I just read my book.
Just go to a diner, read a book, find some trouble.
Exactly. One time a week.
I do want to go
otherwise,
to this diner, though.
yeah.
You should just go to the same one.
And just
And
sit and read
make
my
it-
own book.
Yeah, make it look like you're gonna sit with them, but then sit by yourself.
Oh, come to my diner and
Or sit right next to him and just open a book as well.
well, most of the time I get a table for myself, so you could sit across the table from
Right.
me,
And just
we're
stare at
both
him the whole time.
we're
I'm
both
going to
just
sit
reading
at the
books.
the next table. So we're looking at each other, but there's a whole booth in between
Yes.
us.
You know how like when people say, "Oh, if I ever get rich, this is what I would do. I'd buy a yacht." This is what I would do.
Just
I
go
don't
to
have a
diner.
job, so I would just fuck with people all the time. I would just do weird shit. Like, I don't have a job. I'm
go-
rich. I'm gonna go creep on Wally for a day.
Sit in the parking lot of a diner until I see Wally go in.
Yes.
Then I'm also going to go in,
yes.
and I'm not going to talk to him.
And then I'm gonna, but also because I have nothing going on, I'm gonna scope out exactly what book he's reading, try to figure out exactly what he's got, get the same copy, and then do the exact, try to copy it exactly, and just creep him out.
Oh my god! All right, so on the news, they're talking about this villain who is going on trial. His name is Black Star, played by Tyler Mane.
He swears he's a bad
boy.
guy.
He's a very bad guy. So the waitress comes over and she turns around and looks at the TV, and then when she turns back, the guy is gone. We see him running down a alley, and he's stripping off his clothes into his superhero uniform because he had heard danger in the distance. So then we see this group of guys in monkey masks are breaking into an armored truck.
Right.
They get stopped by some lady who shows up, and she tells them to leave because she's going to rob it.
She puts on like a cool helmet.
Yep.
Yeah.
She blasts them away, and then Paragon, who is the
The
guy,
boy.
the diner boy that we saw, he shows up to stop her, and they fight, but she kicks his butt.
Yeah, it's not
She
even
kicks
close.
the crap out of him.
She throws him into a building, and she's talking about his parents. You're not the utopian. You're not even your mother. And then the utopian shows up and he throws her up into the ceiling, and that's the end of her.
Yeah, he smashes her real good.
Very quickly. And then he yells at his son Paragon, and he says that he should have called for backup and he needs to do better. So Utopian's not already showing up to be not a great father.
Yeah.
Already showing.
Hey, son, do
I mean,
better.
to be fair, he lost.
It was not
You
even
should
close.
probably do better.
He should.
True.
You're a superhero. Can't you just?
But it
win a
wasn't
fight?
even just like, you okay? You really should have called us in.
And he makes him pay for the broken.
Yep.
You're
Building.
going to pay for all this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, how's he going to do that?
Do superheroes make money?
Apparently, in this universe, they do.
Obviously, his
'Cause they-
inheritance is in
he gets
jeopardy.
something.
They definitely in future episodes they talk about somehow they have money. They all have money.
Well, they had money when they had the company, but the company went under. as we
Right,
see.
but like I like the
they like
the group-
describe how the group has money.
yeah.
'Cause
Well,
have
they
a
don't
very nice
describe it, they
house.
just mention it.
Because their house is awesome.
Yeah, they got like a full on Clark Kent.
They got a
house.
couple of houses, it seems like. Like, at one point,
'Cause
like, go back to
she-
the farm. And like,
That's the,
The
yeah, no,
farmhouse
that's their house.
is
yeah.
huge, but also the daughter has a huge house.
Well, she's only in an apartment,
Oh, well, it's a
Yeah.
very big apartment in Los Angeles. I'm
but
pretty sure.
she also models. Anyway, we'll get to her.
Right.
Anyways, so we go to the Utopian who's at home. He's watching TV, and we see Black Star getting put away, and we hear that it was because of the Utopian that he got caught. He looks at some family pictures, and we can tell that he has two kids. Obviously, I forgot that we had already seen the kids at the beginning.
We did.
Um,
Yep.
So
They don't look anything like the kids in the beginning, though.
no. His wife and him are cooking dinner. Her name is Lady Liberty or Grace.
Did they ever say her real name? I don't.
They
remember
do
that.
in the
They
second
do, I
episode,
believe.
and it
Okay.
is Grace.
Right, because he thought it was George, and it's
Yeah.
not. It's a lady.
Yep.
Oh
Yes.
shit.
So they're cooking dinner and talking about some memories from the past and about their kids. Apparently, the daughter doesn't listen to either of them, and the Utopian doesn't think that Paragon will be able to step up and take over the leadership after he retires. Thinks he might never be ready to take over.
He's never gonna live up to the Utopian.
Yes. So
It's hard to be Jordan's son,
exactly.
as Jordan's son proved by not being nearly as good at sports.
So we see Paragon, whose real name is Brandon. We see him sitting up on the roof, and obviously he's got super hearing as well, so he can hear his parents talking about him. His uncle Walt, whose superhero name is Brainwave.
Seems a little sketchy, like most people named Walt.
He's very sketchy. Yeah.
You're an ass.
You can't say those things. He's right here now.
So his uncle shows up, and the two of them are up on the roof, and they're talking. And his uncle either
Seems like
just reads his mind without him knowing,
Yeah.
or the kid just basically
Have you
read
seen
my mind.
Have you seen the whole thing?
I've seen all the
Okay.
episodes.
Well, here's my opinion. You don't have to tell us, but I thought Walt was a super villain or some kind. He is the bad guy.
He gives off a vibe.
He gives
right?
off that vibe,
Yeah.
and he framed the dad later, and he did all. That's what I think is happening.
Framed the dad. Oh, their dad.
Their
His-
dad.
his
Like
dad,
he
not
screwed.
Sheldon.
He's
Okay.
the one who screwed everything up.
No, it was in fact the dad.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
He gives
Spoiler
off
alert.
he
yes.
gives off an evil vibe, but I guess he's not evil.
Yeah. He reads
He's gray.
he reads Brandon's mind and hears what Sheldon, the Utopian, just said about him. And it is pretty harsh what
Yeah.
he says. So
He's not a nice guy.
no. Then Brandon asks him about what his dad was like before they had their powers. And that brings us to the flashback to, I don't know,
1920 something.
29, I think. Something like
29,
that.
something
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It's the 20s.
We see Sheldon.
Yeah,
he's
29.
walking through the steel mill that his father owns, the family owns.
Yes.
He's talking to all the workers. He's got a great relationship with all of them. Then he finally goes into the office and he talks to his father and his brother Walt. Walt wants to put a hold on the merger that they have going, or the expansion plan that they have going. He's really worried about the whole thing, but Sheldon and his dad don't want to do this. They think he's, overreacting and stuff like that. And they try to convince him.
He's just too pessimistic.
Yes, that he's just being too pessimistic, that everything's going to be fine. But Walt has some serious worries about.
Seems like Walt knows
expanding.
actually what's going on, and Sheldon is head in the clouds guy. It's like, I'm gonna show up for 5 minutes and then I'm out of here.
Yes, exactly. Like Walt is the older son who actually works.
Yeah.
Keeps the books and stuff.
He says, I think in the next episode, he's like, you show up and work and leave. I live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they try to convince Walt that it's still a good idea and that they're going to go along with it, but you can see that he's still not on board. We go back to the present day. We have Sheldon, Grace, Walt, and Brandon having dinner. They start to say grace, even though their daughter hasn't arrived yet, because it seems like she doesn't ever come. And then middle of grace, we hear a loud crash, and Chloe, the daughter, walks in, and she's wasted on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's pretty high. It seems like.
it seemed
high.
like high. Yeah, it seemed like cocaine high.
She's got some problems.
Yes. Yeah. So Mom and Uncle Walt are very happy to see her, but Sheldon seems a little annoyed by her lateness and the way she's acting. You can tell there's a lot of family tension here. So they eventually talk about Chloe's modeling shoot, and Sheldon's not happy about it because she wasn't wearing much.
Very naked.
Mm-hmm. So they talk about how, each like how the family has decided to use their powers. Like she doesn't use her powers, and obviously Brandon has gone along with the family business of being a superhero.
Right. She doesn't use her powers, but it seems like she flew from LA to wherever they are.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
but she doesn't use her powers to be a superhero.
No, she doesn't
She-
save anybody's life.
Yeah, she
Right.
just uses her powers like a
Like,
normal person
yeah.
would use their powers.
Right.
Because let's be
seems like a
honest,
much better life.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would not use my powers for good. I would not use my powers for good.
If
I
you
would
just
use my
had-
powers for selfish people.
If you had
Like-
superpowers and you just kind of hung out, that would
Yeah.
be a pretty good life.
Yeah, I'd make sure that I had money, and that's about it. Maybe if I literally saw something happening right in front of me,
You
I would stop
yeah,
it.
but you wouldn't like
But
be
I wouldn't go
listening to
out-
police scanners
I
all
wouldn't
day
go out
and night.
looking for problems. So Chloe mentions that she like their parents all decided that they wanted to have powers, but they were just born. The kids were just born into this.
Yeah, they decided that, but in the
Yeah.
flashbacks, they don't have powers right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I did say that Chloe's a bit of a cunt, and she storms out because she
She
was.
says some nasty shit to
Yeah.
the dad, who is also dead.
Oh, he
Yeah.
is a terrible.
They're both
dad.
bad.
Yeah.
They're both bad people.
The whole family does seem pretty bad.
That's
Well,
the
no,
thing.
not
That's one of the
only-
things about the show that bothers me is that he's so annoying. And I know he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But he's on screen so much.
And
just
he's always
driving it
irritating.
home like every minute. And even when he's supposed to look cool later in the next episode, when he like shows up at her house
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, this is him trying to be cool. Even that, he's like
he's a dick.
You can't turn it off.
very irritating again.
Yeah. So she storms out. Brandon goes outside to talk to her. He tells her that he stayed with the family because someone has to step up after the utopian is gone.
They also talk about how he's going to be gone soon. He's going to be gone soon, but he seems to like kick everybody's ass.
Yeah, because they have been around for 90 years. Because this is
Right.
literally
They're old.
Yeah, he was what, like 20s at least.
Yeah.
in the 20s.
So they're over 100 years old,
Yeah,
Yes.
but they
Um,
look great still.
yes, because
They're young
obviously they're-
actors aged up with
and their
makeup
powers probably made them
and live for a
live,
long time.
live a longer
Right.
life. Yeah. So Chloe scoffs at him because she thinks it's all bullshit. They argue a little bit more before she flies off. We see Sheldon and Grace washing and drying dishes. Walt comes over and takes over the drying duty, so Grace just leaves. The two of them talk about Brandon. Sheldon is pretty hard on him and really only calls him by his superhero name, but Walt calls him Brandon and basically tries to talk him up and be a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dad's weird about that with all of them. Like they will be
Yes.
talking about someone by name, and he will like make it a point to say whatever their superhero
super name
tag is.
Yeah.
Right. And the uncle is like, your son has real potential to be better than even you.
Yeah.
So
Um,
did the Bruins just score a goal?
They might have just tied it up late in the third. Late in the third.
I would put it on the TV, but then we get in trouble.
probably, yeah.
The feds would be after me. I think. Is that how it works?
I think so.
Definitely, that's how it
Still.
works.
They show right up at the door.
So then next scene, we see Brandon and his friend Barry are in the VIP section of a club.
They be clubbing.
Yep. Obviously, people are taking pictures and videos of them because they know who these superhero people are. The two of them talk about his dad and how the original members of the union had to get their powers, but they were born with them. But the two of them were born with their powers. They didn't really ask for it. His friend is trying to get Brandon to lighten up, but he's still a pretty serious guy about
My
trying to
dad
be the
is-
next utopian.
Utopian.
Exactly. Imagine if Superman was your dad
Yeah.
and then trying to take over after he
And
got old.
he says the line at one point where he's like, "You make us look bad if you're bad. Like you make
Yeah.
the
You
family."
fucked in all of us. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like a very shitty situation to be in.
So then we go back to the past and we see Sheldon saying goodbye to his fiance, and he happens to walk into his friend George on the street, and they talk for a little bit until they notice people getting super crazy. And one of the guys says the stock market just went tits up. So Sheldon runs into the office.
He said tits.
It's a really important show. It's really serious now.
We see Walt just trying to get everything like trying to run the ship. Everything's going haywire. Everyone's on the phone freaking out. This one guy's just basically saying stock's down another two points, another 4 points, and just keeps like every 2 seconds just saying that. So everybody's freaking out. And Walt basically tells Sheldon, "I told you so. It was a bad time to expand."
Remember when I'm the only one who knows what I'm doing? Yeah. Listen to me.
You fucked up. You done fucked up, guy.
So Sheldon goes looking for his dad, who's on the roof.
Oh boy.
Did you see this coming?
Yeah, 100 miles away.
Not 100 miles away, but like 50 miles away. I did.
And it's like
you're on the roof. It's a stock
he's on
market.
the roof. The
Yeah.
stock market
Come
crashed. Josh Duhamel, like maybe you should grab his arm, Josh.
Yeah.
Like
So when his dad starts talking about the
come
city and
on.
how basically they
So
built it with
telegraphed.
their steel, you're like, all right,
uh,
he's
Steel and
obviously
rock
in
and roll.
shock. He very well might jump off the edge, which he's a foot away from.
Yep.
and he says like, "I'll be right down." He
Yes.
Which they do. I think it's the second of those. They mentioned that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
He says it.
I'll be right down.
Like it's a fucking joke.
Oh my god.
So he takes the quick way to the floor or to the street.
Yep. He jumps off.
Jumps off the building.
Oh,
Josh Duhamel
Rock
is
and,
shocked.
Sam Jackson from the other movie.
Yes,
lost.
right. We can land on our. We'll land
For
on our
the
feet.
bushes.
For the bushes. That movie is very funny.
Oh,
The other guys.
Yep. So then we flash back to present day. Sheldon, the Utopian, and Walt Brainwave are in Union headquarters, in the Union headquarters.
Which apparently they haven't been to in a while. It seems like.
Well, he says how long since all of us.
Oh, okay.
So they talk.
Nobody wants to hang out with Sheldon anymore, so they
Yeah.
all quit.
Fair. They say it's been since the 60s, since all 6 of the original members had been around the table.
And one guy quit and became a supervillain. Is that what we're doing?
Yep. Sky Fox, whose real name is George, turned on them. So that's George, who Sheldon just met on the street.
So
Like,
he's
yeah,
part of the team
exactly
in the old version.
Yep. So Walt talks angrily about the past, but Sheldon is much kinder about the memory of George, saying, "Oh, well, he had his reasons." And then Walt says, "Well, so did Hitler." So, okay.
It's weird how nice he is to George, but how much of a dick he is to his own kids.
Yeah.
Well, George had his reasons, but Paragon, you suck.
Yeah.
So they do mention that they've been superheroes for over 90 years now. And they talk about how divided the country is and how messed up things
This was
are.
awkward.
It's basically just like put superheroes into our time.
Yeah, right. And then they're like, "Oh, well, we
just
can
list all the reasons that our time is bad."
Sheldon was like, "We can fix it." And was the other guy that?
Other
No,
way
it was
around,
Walt
yeah.
that said, "We
Walt-
can fix it." And Sheldon's like, "How are we supposed? How can we fix it? What are we
I'm
gonna?
the best, and I give up.
What are we gonna laser it to death?"
Well,
Like,
it's the point is that Walt wants them to take more of a like hands-on approach of this is how the country should be behaving.
yeah,
And Sheldon says we don't.
Like
We don't
so
lead-
just react.
Yeah, we don't kill, we don't lead, we only try to inspire. Walt says that they should have stepped in during World War II much earlier than they did.
Whoa.
If they did, I don't remember if they.
No, it
I
sounds
can't
like we
remember.
could have stopped a lot of people from dying.
Yes, and Sheldon says basically, well, would we have stepped in with all the other major wars after that? Which, yeah, and then
Maybe
he
you
also,
should've.
and then he says like, but that would have been the end of free will because then we would have been leading everybody. And what happens if we, people don't want to go along with us? Who's going to say no to us? That kind of thing.
Exactly. No one.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Right.
he said it would have been the end of free will, and Walt counters that free will's pretty much gone anyways. I mean, corporations are basically doing that to the small people anyways.
Some topical talk.
I didn't do a great job explaining that conversation, but like
certain parts of it are good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good conversation. But they get interrupted by a guy in a wheelchair who I didn't actually get his name until like the 7th episode.
Does he also have like
brain
powers
or
something?
He had,
or did he get injured?
He got injured.
He was one of the guys that worked in the factory.
No. Oh yes, he was.
He worked in the factory? I missed that.
I just can't remember which one he is.
He has like his hand is burned, right? And his face is like weirdly has like white lines on it.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it was.
And his daughter is part of the team too.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it was because of
George or whatever.
Yeah, because of George. Yeah.
Whatever his
Fitz.
name was.
Fitz is his name.
Fitz. Okay.
Fitz Small. But of course, it's not going to show me the freaking superhero name. Nope. Oh, the Flare apparently.
The Flare. Okay.
Yeah. Shoot, wrong document. All right, so there we go. So Fitz and his daughter walk in. She's a superhero, and they say that Black Star has escaped from the Supermax prison.
Which everyone's like, how the fuck did he do that?
Yep. And Black Star being the super big bad guy.
Right, Thanos, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Thanos looking dude.
More like what's the
you're right.
Armageddon?
What the hell is his name? Apocalypse. More of like an Apocalypse X-Men, I guess.
Lex Luger is his name.
The one for the Superman's villain.
Lex Luger.
No, you mean the one from Superman.
Darkseid or something like that?
Darkseid, yeah. It's like a big rock guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
basically, he literally looks like
the narcissist, Lex Luger. He looks at himself in a mirror and he fights bad guys.
So we go to a scene where two young superheroes are watching the battle from a distant hill.
And one smoking pot.
Yep. He's like, I'm not getting near that because he's fucking crazy, and I'm just gonna swoop in once the media shows up to take pictures.
For pictures.
And she's like, that's not a bad idea. I will do the same. So he mentions that there's a few young supers over there, plus the old guard, the Utopian, Lady Liberty, Brainwave, and then he mentions Paragon, and I don't remember what her name is, but she used to date Paragon.
Right, they just broke up.
Yeah,
because he seems like a real fun guy, Paragon.
She might be Ruby Red. I don't remember though.
Ruby Red, yeah. Brennan's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. So they're talking, and then all of a sudden the battle comes straight to their hill. They get knocked out. Black Star is fighting Lady Liberty and the Utopian. Lady Liberty's down. Black Star is fighting the Utopian by himself until like the rest of the young supers and Brainwave catch up to the fight. He's holding off basically all the young ones plus Brainwave. He grabs hold of one of the girls and pulls him in front of her, and he shoots a blast through her with his energy core, which kills her.
Antimatter, yeah.
And Paragon's best friend Barry, who's
they were clubbing.
Tectonic.
Yes, because that's another one that the dad he'd be like, yeah, well, Barry died. Like, yeah, Tectonic died. Like, yeah, wow. Come on, Dad, he's dead.
Yeah,
come on.
So obviously, Paragon's very shaken up.
This is where I was like, oh, this is like The Boys, because there's a lot of like gore superhero stuff going on in The Boys. So I was like, oh, this got to be like a.
It doesn't get as gory. As The Boys.
Yeah, it doesn't quite go there, but
it's
a competitor to The Boys, Netflix's version of it.
Yes,
maybe.
Yes, it's a PG-13 version of the R Boys.
He fucking decapitated a lady, but
yeah. So Paragon goes after Black Star himself, but he gets tossed away, and he's gonna get trounced. So Lady Liberty steps in. Utopian fight him. Black Star is able to knock them both down until Brainwave finally gets into his brain and like takes control over him.
Brings him to like a fake paradise.
Yes, brings him to a beach, and like his body's frozen, so the other superheroes are kicking his ass while Brainwave and him are talking on this beach. Unfortunately, he's able to break the psychic hold in the beach scene, and he knocks everybody off of him. He eventually lands on top of the Utopian and is punching him straight in the face. He's about to go nuclear. So Paragon, you hear his father's words in his head again. He summons his strength and he jumps up and he caves Black Star's head straight in.
Kills
the
this
right
guy.
move. When they're saying he's going nuclear, they mean like he's literally about to explode a nuclear weapon in his chest.
Yes. He's going to kill all of them
And everybody else.
Anyone anywhere near
50
there.
miles. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So good move, Paragon.
Agreed.
Seemed fine to me.
The Utopian immediately gets mad at Paragon for taking a life.
Yeah. You know, he just saved yours and mom's, by the way. I just saved mom's life.
And everybody else's. After this dude killed a bunch of people.
After he killed my best friend.
Yeah.
Three young superheroes because of your dumb code that we can't kill people.
Right.
So Utopian sends him to Union headquarters. Then that scene ends with Brainwave telling them that they have a problem. They all get back to the Union headquarters and they're standing around Black Star's dead body when all of a sudden another Black Star walks into the room surrounded by a bunch of guards from the Supermax prison.
This is great.
And
I enjoyed this.
Yeah, he asks what that is, and the Utopian says, "It appears to be you." And that's how the first episode ends.
I love his reaction in the second episode. That's my favorite thing that happened in both episodes.
So I know that like it's the first episode of a whole brand new thing, so you need to like lay the foundation.
Yeah.
Some of that got annoying. Josh Jamel got annoying with his.
Yeah.
But then like the fight scene and the cliffhanger
good.
were good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Josh Duhamel does not get much better while he's Paragon throughout the season.
Yeah.
While he's Sheldon in the past, it's pretty interesting, but
it's almost like two
different series.
Yeah, and one show is better than the other sometimes.
Yeah.
And like it's very based on the Watchmen, obviously. Or seems like it, because the whole like we used to be a team and now it's put in like I
don't think I ever saw The Watchmen.
It's like we used to be a team and we fought in the wars and stuff, and now we got super like disillusioned and one of us was murdered, so now we got to figure out what happened and like talk to all the past people that quit the superhero group.
It's kind of the opposite then, because it's a
little bit different.
Yeah, like it's all right. So the Watchmen is all those superheroes do get involved with politics and stuff like that, and they don't do it.
They don't. Right.
So then we go to the second episode, Paper and Stone. It picks right up where the first episode ended. Prisoner Black Star. He immediately puts on glasses. I think that's my favorite part about this. He puts on reading glasses, like, oh, let me take a look at this. Let me
take a real look at this caved-in head.
Yes.
I could easily say.
And he says it's a cheap knockoff, and he asks who killed him, and Paragon says it was him. He's like, yeah, it's a cheap knockoff because I would have killed your boy here.
Yeah. And he double birds them when he leaves too. He's like, I would have killed you.
I would have murdered your son.
I'm out.
Once again, during his face-off, Brandon thinks about his dad's words from the first episode about not being ready. And Brainwave somehow notices this.
Seemingly evil,
yes.
Brainwave, but I guess not.
Black Star says Paragon should be in prison for killing. And it says, oh, it's double standard, that kind of thing. And he says, don't worry, everyone's going to find out because he has a fan club.
Yes.
I got a fan club.
Very funny character, which I hope would show up again.
He does. He shows up 5 out of the 8 total episodes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Robert Millay shows up in another episode that Paragon's not, or that Black Star's not in. So you get 6 wrestlers out of 8 episodes.
I like it.
That's not bad.
Good, a lot of wrestling.
Yeah. So the superheroes then to start discussing about, where could this other Black Star have come from? Like, what could he be? And then they go outside, and later Liberty starts taking questions from the media while there is a protest being held right outside their headquarters. The media asks about Paragon, and Lady Liberty kind of deflects, but she says that he regrets the loss of any enemy combatant's life. They respond with that 78% of Americans agree with what he did, and that they think that, you know, the code of not killing is kind of outdated. And that's when the utopian steps in and he dismisses these claims.
He ruins everything.
Sticks hard to the fact that the code is important, that kind of thing. And obviously the crowd is not happy about this answer.
Nobody is happy about this.
Nope. Literally, like,
not even his own wife.
Exactly. You can see it in like every superhero's face that nobody is on board with this anymore.
Every time he brings it up, you notice that what's
another person is getting.
She always leaves the room or like does laundry or something. Like, she obviously does not agree with him, but won't challenge him on it.
Yep. So then we go to Paragon, Brandon, who's back home on the farm, and Sheldon comes out and has a talk with him. He tries to do the like he tries to make him feel better, but then he also is like, you got to do better. Like, you're still not doing good enough. Like,
so bad that I'm going to not allow you to be a superhero. Like, you're grounded.
Yeah.
Essentially, you're grounded.
Yep.
As like a 30-year-old man.
So obviously Brandon's pissed about this since he's being punished because his friends were dead and Black Star was about to kill his parents
and set off a nuclear bomb.
Yes. And he says he would choose to save his dad and his parents over staying true to the code any day, basically. Sheldon says that the code is the only thing that matters and needs to be what they stick to. And then he tells Brandon that, yeah, you have to stay at the farm until things quiet down. You can't be a superhero right now. So we go back to the past. Sheldon walks into the office and Walt talks to them about, you know, their dad and how they're getting his suit ready for the funeral. And then he tells Walt tells Sheldon that the board wants to shut the company down just for a little while, at least. They argue about that until one of the workers comes in with a newspaper. The newspaper very tastefully has his father dead on the concrete.
Suicide photo.
Yeah. Saying that the company gambled away the workers' retirements. Obviously, Sheldon's not happy about this, so he
just goes like, "No, it's not true."
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Goes to the paper without proof that this was not true.
The media's wrong.
Yelling at the entire office as
fake news.
Where's G. Kennedy? And Grace Kennedy, Lady Liberty, walks down the stairs and she's super cocky. She's like, dude, I don't know who you are, because they think he's a lawyer.
I triple sourced.
Yeah, this is all true, but I don't know who. And then he says, my father, and she goes, oh no. So
you're a dick.
Yeah.
For putting a picture out there.
He basically yells at the office at large, and she does kind of shrink when she realizes that Sheldon's the son. And he calls them socialists a lot. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Which that's a thing in the 1930s.
Yes,
that's fine.
You don't want to be on that side.
Yeah. So then we go back to the present day, and we see Fitz. Is that right? Who wheelchair guy was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fitz comes in and talks to his daughter.
Fitz talks to his daughter again about the battle.
Fitz Small.
Fitz Small is
his
name.
Yeah.
You get the opposite of Sheldon here, because he comes out and he's like, I'm worried about you, to the daughter, and she's like, I don't know if I want to be a superhero anymore with this shit. And he's like, so don't.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't. And she's like, okay, well, we'll figure it out. They have a much healthier relationship than anyone else.
Yes, they do. She mentions how villains are getting worse. And he says that when she started being a superhero, he was worried that she would get hurt just like he did. And that he's proud of her because she's better than him in so many ways. So that, yes, they have a much better relationship.
Great dad.
Then we go to Sheldon, who shows up at Chloe's apartment.
And this is like so
Peace
trying
offering,
to make him look cool.
Make him look like he's a nice guy, except
I got you
while
bagels.
Also making him still seem like he's like a dick.
He goes back to dickhead.
Yeah.
Like, he can't just let it go.
So
I've seen real conversations that go in this direction.
Oh, like
she was true to life.
She was also a massive dick to him. So
yeah,
she was, but I feel like she's got more reason to be a dick than he does. So, so they have a very strained conversation until Sheldon asks her if she's coming to the funeral. He says that Brandon really needs her, and he does mention that he can't communicate. Like his general vibe at that point is basically he doesn't know how to talk to them, which is like, all right, so he understands that he doesn't know how to talk
Hey,
to them.
thanks for
Right.
taking 25, 30 years to figure this out.
Yeah. And you see it in the very first minute because he's like, oh, I'll take you to get ice cream. Oh, never mind. Bank
Yeah.
robbers, gotta go.
So like she kind of softens up because he's admitting that he can't communicate. So she tells him to give him time and says that, you know, Brandon and Barry have been friends for a long time. He's Barry's the godfather to Barry's two kids, and he's sitting there looking confused, like, Barry, who the fuck's Barry? And he's like, oh, Tectonic, and she goes, that's the fucking problem, Dad. You don't see these people as anything other than a superhero instead of like people. So they argue some more, and Sheldon kind of blames her for all the distance between them, even though not really. You're getting that you're starting to get the feeling that no, it's a lot of his problems that are causing this stuff.
Yeah. It's his fault.
Yeah. So after blaming her, she basically shuts down and he leaves. So then we go back to the past and we see Walt going over some numbers in the office again. He's looking at the paper again. Sheldon walks in and he asks for the guy's name in legal so he can sue the paper, and Walt tells him no, we can't sue them because everything was true. He goes, what?
Oh,
What? Dad wouldn't do that. And he's like, no, Dad absolutely did
Dad
this.
did do that. Yeah.
Their dad used the pension fund for the workers to back the failed expansion. So once the stock market crashed, all that money was gone.
Dick.
Sheldon like doesn't believe him, and Walt tells him about all like the dirt that goes on in the steel.
That's not a great guy.
Yeah.
That's not a great guy. Corporations are bad. You are a very naive man.
Yes, we stole everything. Like our business was basically stolen things that we could from Rockefeller and other big name steel companies. He tells him he's basically naive. Walt tells him they're shutting down production for 5 months, and Sheldon doesn't want to do that. He's like, it's happening.
It's too
That's
bad.
the only way to save the company. That it's,
not only do we steal these people's, I get this here. We stole their pensions to try to expand, but now they're literally laying everybody off as well.
Yeah,
we're such dicks.
Yeah, for at least 5 months.
You're right.
So Sheldon's the one who has to go out to talk to the workers.
There's a Bruin score.
We just won in overtime.
Awesome.
Winner.
Washington Capitals.
Ooh.
Tied. Series tied.
Brad
1-1.
Marchand.
Of course. The man.
Sorry.
So Sheldon is talking to the workers, and they're asking him all the questions that you would ask in their situation, like, where's our fucking money? I can't believe you're firing us, that kind of thing. Right. They want to beat the shit out of him.
Yep.
Understandable.
Yep.
So this worker, the one who Sheldon's very good friends with, his name is Willie, and his son, who is Fitz, basically stop everybody from beating Sheldon up because they say, your family doesn't need you in jail, they need you at home. And they're all like, yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Then we end this flashback to the past with Sheldon being at home with his fiance, talking about watching his dad die.
Yes, because he has a fiance that is not Lady Liberty.
It's a different lady.
Yes, it is not Lady Liberty. So we go back to the present day, and Grace is helping Brandon tie his tie for his friend's funerals. She comforts him about giving the eulogy. And then we go into the mixing of the two funeral montages. We see, a bit of each funeral here. Chloe doesn't come to the funeral. Past Sheldon is giving a eulogy, and then he has a seizure and he falls down.
Right. And he was bleeding from the nose when he went to the newspaper place too.
Right, I forgot about that. Apparently that's an important sign, but doesn't really. I don't know. Whatever.
It's a sign that he's turned into a superhero, I guess.
No.
I feel like there's a whole thing that's
gonna take place.
There's way more things.
There's way more. Yeah. So in the past, he has a stroke or a seizure and he falls down. Then we go to present day Brandon talking about his friends being people and not just superheroes. He says he failed them and that he envies them for dying as heroes, which I thought was
Whoa.
probably not the message you want to go with there. But
I feel like that's like a lot of veterans would say that. Like,
yeah,
after war.
yeah.
But
Brandon then talks to Barry's wife. She wants Uncle Brainwave, Uncle Walt, to erase her kids' memories because they saw his death live on TV, basically. Well, not live, but like somehow on TV.
Yeah. Not great.
And they didn't blur it at all. So Brandon tells her, he doesn't do that kind of thing. So she leaves. And then the police chief talks to Brandon about taking out the villains first. He's like, "Yep, you what you did was right.
We like you."
Fitz actually at the funeral also said he agreed with what Brandon did.
Yeah.
And obviously Sheldon having super hearing,
He heard it all.
he hears it all. Yep.
There's no secrets in superhero unions.
Nope.
especially when some of them just will read your brains.
Which, by the way, if you know this, maybe you don't have these conversations. You know this dude's listening to you.
Yeah.
Maybe they want him to hear though.
Yeah, you're such a dick. We're gonna pretend this is a secret.
And we're gonna talk to your son
You're
about
definitely gonna
this.
hear
So they go home. He and Grace are talking about, what he overheard. Well, basically, it's a one-sided conversation. He's talking at her, and then they have an argument about the code. This is when we see that she thinks that the code needs to be changed because villains are getting worse. We go back to the past one more time, and we see Walt, George, and Sheldon's fiance, who are sitting around his bed in the hospital. Walt and George obviously do not like each other. They're snapping back and forth at each other a lot. Suddenly, Sheldon has like a montage of visions in another seizing episode, but he wakes up from this. And he tells them, I saw this island. I think it's a message, and I think it's a message from our dad. And the camera pans out, and you see someone standing behind Walt.
Yeah.
Who has like a bloody head.
Right.
So it does set up the third episode because you see a lot more of what's going to happen in the past.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly, but I feel like the third episode all of a sudden goes like the present day. It stops focusing on the superheroes so much, and it starts focusing on like this group of, I don't think they're supers. I think they're just normal people, or they might be people who have powers but aren't superheroes nor villains. They're just kind of like.
So I would say the first episode, I wanted to watch enough to make me watch the second episode.
Yeah.
Second episode, not as much for the third, I would say.
So yeah, having watched the 2 episodes, that's about my limit. Like just in any show, even if it's something I like after a second episode, like I need something different. I need a break.
Yeah. You can't binge. You're not a binger.
I'm not a good binger. No.
Yeah.
I did not end up the rest of the week. I did think Tuesday I watched it. The rest of the week I would look up. Nah, I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
So I haven't given up on it, but it did not draw me back in.
It does go into, the whole past, all the past stuff. It's leading up to them getting their powers.
Mm-hmm.
So at least like there's that to look forward to.
You watched it all?
I've watched the entire, the whole
you enjoyed
season. I did.
Volume 1.
Yeah, I don't like how they're calling everything volume 1s now. Like everything's a volume instead of a season. Like, come on, just whatever.
Right.
But there is it gets pretty interesting in the present day as well, because you start they do talk about George some more. They introduce, it seems like everybody and their mother is somehow related to, like, who's a superhero is somehow related, or maybe just like, I don't know, somehow the superhero powers spread out through the world as well.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I think I might go back to it. Does it have is it a conclusion at the end of season 1?
No, there's a cliffhanger for 2.
We're just really getting set up for the next season.
I mean, it's ramping up a bit. There is a nice
And this just
But
came
it's-
out,
it-
so
yeah.
we're like way away from another.
Oh yeah,
season.
we're probably another year
Yeah.
away. But yeah, the at the end of the season there is like a ramp up to the next season's going to be pretty sweet, but this season does have some stuff that's pretty cool with it. So
Okay.
So they'll get a second season and then Netflix will cancel it like they do with all of their shows.
Could be.
probably,
They probably already filmed season 2, so that's why they won't cancel it. Maybe.
Yeah.
I hope, because
We'll say.
I
Okay.
don't want to say what happens to lead you into
Yeah,
season
Don't
2.
say
but
it
it's,
because
it's something
I
that
still
you
might
do.
watch it.
Yeah, it's something that you do want to see though. Like if you watch through the entire
Spoiler
first
alert,
season, it's
Josh
something-
Duhamel dies.
Oh.
Okay, it's not that much.
Oh, come on. That would have been good. I thought for a while, like, oh, he's gonna die in the first episode, or somebody's gonna die because like the mom might die. She
Yeah.
looked like
Yeah,
she was
there-
dead for a long time.
There's a lot of stuff where you're like, all right, somebody big and important
Yeah,
is gonna
This is
die.
gonna be like a Game of Thrones kind of thing, and they gotta
But
figure it out without him or something.
That's the problem. It doesn't take the Game of Thrones level where they kill off important people. It's only like side
Barry,
characters.
cool. It's
Who's
likable.
Barry? Oh, Tectonic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tectonic,
Yes.
tectonic. Got it. Okay, that's it. Anything else?
I'm probably gonna make us watch the
More?
entire season. Yeah,
I assume
Alright.
that we 2 episodes at a time. We'll watch
Uh,
this.
Okay.
Because I mean, it's not bad. It's better than.
So I should just start watching it then, because then I'll be ahead.
It's up to you.
That's a good idea.
Unless you're about to say we're going to watch episodes 3 and 4.
I'm not gonna say it. It's on me, right?
It is on you. Yes.
All right. So I had a toss up here, and I really want to do this one when Mike comes back to like a full show, and I don't know when that's gonna be.
Yeah.
Uh,
Because even
2027?
come here.
yeah, he
Is he gonna stay for the second?
No,
episode?
he hasn't stayed for a lot of second episodes. So
Yeah.
my second episode was going to be Dark Side of the Ring, our good friend Nick Gage, Dark Side of the Ring.
Definitely got away from Mike for that.
You
And
need
I
to save that.
I have to save that.
Save
so,
it.
Gotta save that.
so
Save it.
instead, that's season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring happening now.
Oh, thank
That just came out on Friday. So I got to save that for Mike, right? I can't do that now. So
Yeah,
instead, in honor of New Jack, we're gonna do Dark Side of the Ring season 2 episode New Jack.
Okay.
Okay.
This is Tubi.
It's on Hulu.
Oh.
Okay.
It's on Hulu, Vice TV. If you have Vice TV somewhere else, you can get it there. It's on Vice, and it might be on YouTube too. I'll have to check, but it is an episode about New Jack, 44 minutes, documentary about New Jack. So
Okay.
we
This will
can-
be actually good because again, we
yeah,
discussed this
learn more about New
last
Jack
episode,
and all
but
the
I know
things.
of New Jack, but I
Right.
don't really haven't
Right.
seen. I've seen clips. You know.
Yep. So
Do you got an actual name for this?
Dark Side of the Ring,
Oh, it's Dark Side of the Ring. That's what I
season
have to
2,
look up.
and the episode is the New Jack. It's just New Jack's episode. So Dark Side of the Ring is on Hulu. So
Yeah, but okay.
we'll find it. That's it right there, the top one.
The series. All right.
That's it.
I wasn't because there's sometimes where I'll look at Hulu on this
Mm.
and I won't be able to watch it on Lydia's Hulu because she doesn't have whatever the fuck I have. I guess I have an upgrade for something, maybe stars or whatever it is.
Oh, okay. Well, it's on there. It's on Vice. It should be on there. So
Nice.
if you can't find it, I can provide that for you. But New Jack, it's 44 minutes long. Season 2.
Okay.
It's like one of the. I think that's it.
Life and Crimes
Life
and
and-
New Jack.
Life and Crimes of New Jack. So that's what we're gonna do.
All right.
We can learn more about New Jack. This was fun. Fun to be back in the
It is.
back in the basement.
The recording studio.
Yes, right. Sorry. Very professional recording.
The
It's got a green
soundproof?
screen.
Soundproof?
No. Hopefully it didn't wake up any children. We're gonna find out in a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
Peace
Yeah.
out.